Assalamu alaikum. After I think it's been at least 3 weeks since we've had any rain at all. Finally getting a little bit of a shower. Of course, it's probably enough to make a huge difference, but pretty much the grass is already all dead. But we'll definitely make it so I don't have to irrigate my produce today. It's just a slow, gentle rain, kind of what we need. I wish we could get 2 or 3 days of this. Everything's just kind of burned up around here. Rain is definitely a blessing for us, something we definitely need. First time I get to wear my new hat cover. Thanks, Pete. Assalamu alaikum. So today I'm really home from getting leaves. I got a trailer load of leaves to mulch. It's been another probably 4 or 5 days since we've had any rain. And I guess we're not supposed to get any for at least another 7 days. So I thought maybe mulching would help a little bit with the plants, keep them from burning in the sun. I got these leaves here. They're actually from last year's leaves, so they're pretty good. They're starting to break down good. They don't have a lot of weeds or sticks in them. I paid $20 for the trailer load for them, and they loaded them for me, so that wasn't bad. So it's, I don't know, it's mid to upper 80s today. It's pretty warm, and I thought I'd just take the time today. I had the day off, so thought I'd get a load of leaves. I've been wanting to do this for a minute, but just haven't had time. Hopefully this will really help my plants to retain water. And so far it seems to be working. The leaves I got out of the woods seem to really help, but they did have a lot of pine needles in them, so these leaves don't have any at all. It's still really dry and dusty here. The little bit of rain that we have gotten. I don't even think we've gotten quite an inch the last rainstorm that we had. Just wasn't enough. And it's still really dry and dusty. If it wasn't for water in the garden, it would have burned up already by now. Pretty much all the grass is burned up. Pretty rough state of affairs in that regard. Grateful to have the sprinkler system, or I don't know what I do to keep everything alive and watered. My plan is to really mulch this garden over here with the leaves, and I'm hoping that I won't hardly have to weed it because of the mulch. Hopefully that'll alleviate a little bit of work, and it also help keep some of the moisture in. So I thought some of my other friends have done it, and they put cardboard down all over, and then they put just covered it with a lot of leaves, and they said it improved their soil too, they thought. So I thought I'll give it a try this year on this garden. Ooh! Assalamu alaikum. I'm just going to take you guys out and see how the garden's coming along. It's been really hot. It was actually 90 degrees today, so it was pretty bad. Today is Saturday. I cultivated yesterday with thunder. Right here in the corn was really weedy, so I'm probably going to have to go over it again a little bit. But for the most part, I got most of the weeds out of here. Most of the plants are doing pretty good. I did lose a few in the heat. I got a section back here of peppers, basically from the sprinkler to the end that's gone, but all these are doing pretty good. They've got peppers on them even. And this row here is all peppers. They all made it. Corn's coming up. Wish I could have got it in sooner, but it is what it is. I'm getting ready to get in here and weed this now. Cabbage is doing pretty good. The purple cabbage isn't doing as good, but the difference is I mulched this and I haven't got around to mulching the purple cabbage, and you can tell the difference. It's just not quite as healthy as the green cabbage is. So those are the two things I'm going to do this evening, is try to pull some more weeds out of here. I guess I could hitch thunder and try going over it again a little bit, especially up in there. These rows here actually aren't bad, but I definitely need to either by hand weed that or go back over it again up there. This is the cucumbers. They're looking pretty good. Although it probably wouldn't hurt to mulch them as well. My onions are coming up. I got these in pretty late as well, but they're coming up as well. And tomatoes over here. None of my Romas made it. I'm kind of disappointed. I went to town and looked for Romas and to see if they had any for sale. Just, I don't know, 6 or 8 Romas to finish this row off, but couldn't find any. So I do have a canning tomato. We'll see how they do, I guess. I do like to have a few Romas mixed in there. But there's several different kinds here. There's a canning tomato, and there's some regular beefsteak tomatoes and some heirloom, some of the purple ones. I forget what they're called, but that's what's going on in this garden. I have melons over here. I'm not sure how well they're doing. My sprinklers gave out on me and I had to go get more, and I ended up going to 3 Tractor Supplies in one day looking for a sprinkler. So the melons haven't gotten watered like they should have. But I did mulch them. So they're surviving. I don't know if they're going to make very good melons. They ought to be a little bigger probably. But we'll see what happens. This thing is full of melons. You can't see them all because they're not very big. Looks like actually that one there and this one didn't make it. But most of them did make it, looks like. Some seeds out of here. But anyways, that's where we are. I got my potatoes are coming up. I found this potato hiller online, but it turned out to be pretty hard to use by myself. The horse just, for whatever reason, would not walk in a straight line. Like when it comes to cultivating, he'll walk right down the row, no problem. but I guess maybe the row wasn't as well defined on this end, and he was just zigzagging all over. So I had to have somebody drive while I ran the plow, and so I got these in kind of late actually. This row hasn't even come up yet, but this row here is, I had actually done this row by hand originally, so this row's already up. I need to mulch this as well. Still lots of work to do, but that is how my garden is coming along at this point. Anyway, I'll show you the garden out here. Across the way, the north garden, how that's doing. So I'll show you the north garden. I've actually only cut the grass once this year, and it really hasn't come back. But there is a lot of suckers coming up under these trees right here. I need to take a sling blade or something and knock them down. But other than that, the grass hasn't really started growing. It's just these little sapling things here. And we got mulberries on right now, lots and lots of mulberries. They of course are, I think they're a little small this year, probably because of the lack of rain. But they definitely taste good. They're pretty sweet as far as, you know, mulberries is considered. It's just loaded. We like to mix them in our pancakes when we have pancakes in the morning. Be definitely enough to make some jam out of. Although it takes a little bit of patience to pick them. I noticed when we picked them that they don't stay together as well as other berries. Once you pick them and they get a little sweaty, they just seem like they fall apart. Bismillah. But they are pretty good. And mulberries aren't sweet like raspberries, but these are actually pretty sweet. For probably has something to do with the heat, I don't know. Anyways, here's the other garden. This is after I mulched it with all the leaves. We got 3 rows of greens here. The collards on this row, and these are turnips here, and then there's some kale right here in the front, and back there are mustards. So hopefully we get some rain, or I'm gonna have to put the sprinkler on these too. I also planted okra on this other side, but it just didn't come up. So I'm gonna dig some of them up and see if the seeds are still there. Maybe replant them. I don't know what to do on that. But that is how the gardens are coming along. I wanted to show you on the summer kitchen project how that's coming along. I was able to get some more wood, that free wood from the pickle factory. I guess they're actually going out of business. So I got enough wood to put down on the floor in here. And so that's how that's coming along. And then I want to take sand or something and kind of fill in the cracks a little bit. But it's all cedar. And then I have to do the roof. And I have enough sheet metal actually saved up already to do the roof, except for maybe one strip in the middle. And I was thinking to put like a clear strip in there to let light in. But this is what's going on. And this is a little chest freezer. Like I said, one of my neighbors does like scrapping for a living, and so he got this, gave us this chest freezer here. It doesn't work from electric, but what we will do is just fill it up with ice and then have it like a refrigerator to keep our food cold, leftovers and whatever, you know. So we wanted to have one out here because once we clean this area up, we'll probably put out like a fire pit out here, etc. And it'd be nice to have something like that if we have a party or something, to, not a party, but a gathering. Invite people over, and then we could have cold pops in there. And I also want to put one right outside the door of the house, so we can also have it convenient there. The moment we're using a cooler, and otherwise we have to run downstairs and get out of the chest freezer that's buried. So it'd be handy to have, you know, one of these small ones up close by the door, I'm thinking. Anyway, there's lots of unfinished projects around here. This time of year, it's almost like you can't keep up with everything that's going on. And this dry weather has not helped at all. Hasn't made extra chores. Usually I don't hardly have to irrigate until maybe the first part of July to the middle of July. And I've already been irrigating for over a month. So that just makes extra chores because you have to move stuff around and, you know, put gas in the generator and run the well for 2 hours, and then move the sprinkler to the other garden and run that for 2 hours. And I do want to show you, speaking of sprinklers, let me show you this new sprinkler that I got. When I went to, I got it from Tractor Supply. When I went there, I normally use the regular old school Whirlybird type sprinklers. But when I got there, they were sold out. Like I said, I went to 3 of them before I could even find any sprinklers at all. And the only sprinklers they had were these. And I just didn't know what to think about this sprinkler because I never saw one like this before. But the kind that I normally use are the Whirlybird style, which, let's see, the broken one is laying around here. Right there it is. So these are normally what I use, and they only last, usually these only last me a year. By fall they're worn out and they don't work anymore. So these are what I usually use, and I usually put them up on a pole like this tripod here. I actually bought this one with one on it, but once the head wore out, I just started putting attaching another head to it every year, and this thing reaches pretty far. It does 2/3 of this garden up on the tripod, whereas on the ground it wouldn't reach that far. But you could even put it on like a fence post or a ladder or anything just to get it up high. This is the new sprinkler right here that I got, and I have to say I am really impressed with this. It works really just like the Whirlybird. It throws water out in a circle just like the Whirlybird. I mean, it kind of shoots it out in an arc. But this sprinkler covers more ground than that one ever did. And so I'm really impressed with it. It's got several different settings, how you want to set it. I just put it on the full, and that shoots out the furthest arc. And unlike the Whirlybird, this one goes completely around. It doesn't quite go around, but it goes, you know, it'll come all the way to this side, and then it'll come all the way back around and meet itself. So you could do in a complete circle, where the Whirlybird always only did a half moon, then you'd have to turn it around to do the other side. So that really impressed me. That's a huge, and it's really easy to set. These things here is what's set, you know, how far around you want it to go. On the right side, it comes to here and stops, and then it goes all the way back around and stops on this one. And these you just push them to wherever you want it to be. Very easy to set, and this is the same thing if you want to set these. It's very easy. Whereas the whirlybird, to me, it was not as easy to set. You know, you had to pinch these things and twist them, and to me, it was not as convenient. They never worked as good as this. Of course, I don't know how long this will hold up because it seems to be made out of plastic. Another thing was sometimes these tip over. Usually I stake them in the ground, but if the whirlybird tips over and gets dirt in there, then it quits working. Whereas this is sealed more, and it's because it actually has tipped over already, and it continues to work fine. So I got two of these. This was just a ground one that I tied up on this tripod, and then there's another one in the blueberry patch that's actually came on a tripod. But the tripod isn't as tall as this one, and therefore it does not shoot quite as high of an arc. I just thought I'd throw that little tidbit in about sprinklers if you're looking for one. It's definitely a great sprinkler to try if you see that at Tractor Supply. And this little short one with the spike on the end was 17 bucks. So definitely worth the money. The one with the tripod, I don't remember how much that one was, but I think that one was obviously a little bit more. But I'm getting ready to start this up, so I'll show you the pattern that it does. So as you can see, the sprinkler really has a great range. And it's really quiet compared to the other one. And like I said, it doesn't go in a complete circle, but it'll go almost one way and then come all the way back around and meet itself. So it does a circle basically. It does do it completely around itself. I think it's a great sprinkler. It was well worth the $17 I paid for it. Like I said, it does majority of the garden. I only have to move it once, and that has definitely helped because it goes all the way around, where the other one only went 3/4 of the way around, and so I'd have to move it like 3 times in order to cover the entire garden. Anyways, I thought I'd share that with you guys. If you're looking for a sprinkler, that's definitely a great one to invest in. Like I say, I don't know how long it'll last, but if it lasts a year, I guess that's as good as the other ones.